Good morning. How you doing? This is Chuck Englert, Spring Piston Rifle Fever and Bible and Strength. We are going to dive into an old Milo article, a motivating one. This is a 2006 issue. They don't make this anymore. So we're going to read about Steve Justa and his walkabout training, the author of Rock, Iron, Steel. He said, when the snow and the ice melt, and it starts to warm up a little, or when the summer heat fades and it starts to get cooler in the fall. For me, it is always fun to go outdoors and do some training in the fresh air. I believe it is good for a person to go out and train in the great outdoors and breathe some good, clean, fresh air. It doesn't really matter what you do, just go out and do something, anything. It's fun to drag around heavy things, push and pull on anything that you can find that will test your strength, or get a log chain and a hook through some tires and throw the chain up over your shoulders and drag some tires down the road, or throw on a heavy backpack full of sand or rocks and go for a hike. How'd you like to do that? Go out hiking with a heavy backpack full of rocks or sand. That sounds cool. To me, it is always fun to go out on long walks, and if I encounter something heavy along the way, I see if I can move or lift or push or pull something that looks sporty. You might run into an old car or trailer on an old tractor or a piece of concrete, an old lawnmower or some kind of equipment, a downed tree, an old pipe casings. Excuse me. There are a lot of heavy things lying around out there. It doesn't really matter if you actually lift the object, but just giving a try to see if you can builds coordination and strength. I like lifting the sides of old trailers down on the grain elevator. You can run into all kinds of things like old telephone poles lying around, old railroad rails. You may have to ask permission from certain places so you don't get in trouble for trespassing. You'll kind of know what is fair game and what isn't. It says, I like to push against old trucks or tractors or just try to rock them back and forth, or lifting sides of industrial motors or anything made out of steel. And then when you run into something you can lift, do a couple of all-out sets and reps with it, as many times as you can. Then go on and continue your walkabout. If you run into a good hill or incline, do an all-out sprint or up or down the hill. You may also run into bars or overhangs that you can try to do pull-ups on, or every now and then drop down and see how many push-ups you can get. Paul Anderson used to do lots of handstand push-ups with his feet against the wall, and he was one of the strongest overhead pressers in history. On this page it shows him lifting his car. I've actually done this before, a very long time ago. I ended up getting a nice back spasm out of it. So I'll warn you on that. Or maybe there's a pile of busted up concrete lying around somewhere. Go over to it and see what you can lift, or just move or push around. If you really start observing what's around you, you'll be surprised at the heavy stuff that's just lying or sitting around off the beaten path. Or grab a basketball and shoot around for an hour. This coordinates a lot of muscle and builds endurance. If you want to cover more ground, jump on a bicycle and ride around until you find something to test your strength on. You could also go to a junkyard and buy a couple of iron objects to throw out in your yard to lift when the weather's nice. So you can stay in your own backyard to lift and enjoy the sunshine and fresh air. It says, I believe great strength can be developed by never even having a set routine of any kind. Just lift when you're in the mood and feeling energetic, and go out on a walkabout or even a drive-about. Jump into your car and drive around until you spot something you can push or drag. Once in a while, you'll see these old concrete culverts they use for road construction, or just shove on your car roof Almost anything can give you a good workout if you use your imagination and keep an open mind. Old car motors are fun to roll, push, lift, or drag around. These of these This kind of exercise now and then makes training fun and beats the grind of a rigid routine, of doing the same old thing. So there he is pushing on his car here. Kind of crazy person. If you do these type of workouts, I guarantee you people are going to give you some weird looks. They're going to be like, "What are you doing? You must be some kind of nut." So I'm one of those kind of nuts. I kind of like getting out and doing stuff like that. In fact, I used to have a lot of videos on my old Lone Wolf Strength Training channel that YouTube decided to rip down and destroy forever. I had lots of cool videos where I drove down these old dirt roads and found lots of rocks and loaded them. And actually, I did that for the South Dakota State Fair strongman competition. I had these guys load heavy natural stones on 55-gallon barrels. It was good. It was fun anyhow. Now, you like the video? Give me a like. Definitely give me a subscribe. I'd highly appreciate that. And you all have a great day.